Welcome to episode 7 of the Ruthless Regression podcast.
Lucky number 7.
Yes, I'm Levi,
I'm Elizabeth.
and we're here to talk about a couple of things. Well, first of all, we talk about wrestling. We talk about the WWE. We're talking about both the past and the present today. A little bit later on in the show, we're going to talk about our experience at SmackDown this last Friday night.
Yeah.
We were there in Raleigh, North Carolina. So we're going to talk about our experiences there.
Yeah.
And we're also going to talk about our next Ruthless Aggression episode, which was Monday Night Raw from July 8th, 2002.
If you're watching along on Peacock, that is, I think Raw has its own season or show. And then it's season 10, episode 27 specifically.
Thank you. That's
that
helpful.
We're watching. So if you're maybe not a wrestling fan, or you're casual, or you're kind of confused about what in the world we're even talking about, if you have a Peacock subscription, you could go on there and watch it either prior to the episode, or if you want to watch along with us, just kind of see what we're talking about, or if there's anything that we talk about that strikes your fancy, let us know.
Yeah. What other news? We did not get any emails in our in our mailbox, so Wallace will not be making an appearance on this podcast. We did not get any, so
Okay.
you can catch us on several different platforms. We're on Instagram, YouTube, and Threads at Ruthless Regression.
Red's still going strong, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can catch the YouTube video version of the podcast there. You can get some nice reels and shorts content if you're into that. And then, if you want to kick off our very first segment of the mailbox, you can email us with any questions at ruthlessregressionwwe@gmail.com. So please do. If you want to see our dog, Wally, we're not going to bring him out until he's being held hostage. And we're not going to bring him out until you send us an email.
There will be no dog content until we have participation.
That's right.
That is something that you have to pay for.
Otherwise, any other news or just general feelings or vibes that you have?
General vibes are, it's been a busy week. With the show, new jobs, summer is in full swing.
It's very hot.
So hot. So we're just surviving. We're not thriving so much nowadays, but we're just surviving. And I think once we hit the fall, we'll thrive a little bit more. But the garden's rolling. The wrestling is pumping up to get to SummerSlam. We're kind of soaring into that, but we can touch base on that more as we talk about the most recent show. Let's step back in time and go back to 2002, 21 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. Let's not do any math this week.
I saw you think about it like, am I gonna...
I just gave up.
Am I going to check? No. Okay.
Yeah. So we're July 8th, 2002. We're losing pace. We're currently shooting this on July 16th.
Yeah.
It's going to get away from us, but that's okay. It
is. There's a lot of wrestling. I mean, it's a commitment.
It is, but we're in Philadelphia. In the past here. We have Vince McMahon kicking off the show. He's not in the ring this time. He's just kind of on screen. He tells us, gives us a couple pieces of information. So the Undertaker has a well-deserved night off. He has defended his title like at least 2 weeks in a row, and he's been in the main event like every single week for like the last 2 or 3 weeks. So he's definitely earned a night off. And also, given our controversial finish to the main event of SmackDown last week, which if you recall, that was Undertaker versus Kurt Angle. What was it? It was a draw.
Long match.
It was a draw, and Undertaker kept the belt. So because of that controversy, they're going to insert Kurt Angle into the Vengeance match for the title.
So it'll be a 3-way.
Triple threat.
Or triple threat.
The Undertaker, Kurt Angle, and The Rock.
Yeah, Rock's kind of coming out of nowhere. In all of these episodes that we've talked about, 7 thus far, they're like, The Rock's coming, The Rock's coming. This match feels a little bit like a way to just get The Rock in there to make sure he like shows his face.
It definitely it's vibes of like, I don't know, Dad has gone off to war or something, and we really miss him, and he's coming back, and we're going to show little clips every single episode, and next week he's coming back. Finally,
after weeks, months at this point.
I know it has taken a while.
So The Rock really got like star-studded famous, huh? And then he kind of went out and did his own thing.
Yeah, I want to say, I don't know this for sure, but this is, I think, the beginning of the end of The Rock in WWE.
Right.
This is kind of, I want to say, you may have to fact check me on this, or I'll do it in a minute, but The Rock, I think, was shooting the Scorpion King during this time.
Dude, I'm actually going to look because I was thinking the exact thing.
That was his like first big movie.
Yes, because all of these like promo videos, he looks like he does with the Scorpion King, and I was thinking to myself, I wonder if he had shot that movie already. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was shooting that during this time.
Oh, I love those movies. Had
some really weird CGI. I've never seen the movies, but I always see that I've never seen the movies. Scorpion King. You're giving me the face right now.
You've never seen any of the Mummy movies?
Is that the same as the Scorpion King? So the Scorpion King is a mummy?
One of the Mummy movies, yeah.
Okay, nope. Never seen him.
All right. Well, go ahead and add that to the list. Yep.
I always see that very last, I guess it's one of the last scenes of the Scorpion King where he's like this weird monster thing.
It's not great, but...
And it's really bad CG. But it was, 2002? So... Yeah. Whatever.
We have got to watch those. Brendan Fraser is a really good actor. So this Scorpion King was released April of 2022. So he was definitely riding that high. He was probably on a few press tours during this time. Yeah,
he may have even been shooting a different movie, but
yeah,
that was kind of his first big break, and I think in Hollywood at least. And so I think that's kind of WWE's kind of holding on to him as much as they can, but he's kind of already gone.
Contractual obligations.
Yeah. He's on that Roman Reigns schedule, like hyping it up 3 weeks in advance that he's just going to show up.
Yeah.
And then we'll see if they put the title on him or if he wins the title.
I can't imagine. But I mean, it is The Rock, but yeah, he'll be the part-time champion. But,
we'll see.
Yeah.
Our first match, Booker T versus Eddie Guerrero. I have that this was a pretty stiff match in terms of like, it looked like they were really hurting each other quite a bit.
I agree. But now, full disclosure, we watched this first half a week ago. So
yeah, this is a little
fuzzy.
Yeah.
But I did make a note that it was a great match for me because of that. I love those matches where you're watching and you're like, oh, that almost looked like maybe not on purpose. Like that looked really painful.
It didn't look bad. Like it was very technical and very impressive.
Yeah.
But there were just a few moves there that looked like, but sometimes that adds to a match when you look at moves and you say like, wow, that looks like it really hurt.
Yes.
That most good matches have that, I think.
I completely agree, and that's why I put great match, because that is the art of the wrestling match to me, right? Like so many people are like, even someone that I talked to last week was like, I used to like wrestling and then I realized it was all fake and so I stopped watching. And I'm like,
let's break that down. We're going to come across it eventually, and we're early in our podcast history.
Yeah.
It really, I wouldn't say bothers me when people say wrestling is fake. It's just kind of an ignorant thing to say.
Yes, because it does show a little bit that you're not really understanding what wrestling is, which is fine. Yes. Not everyone understands everything. I mean, that's just life. But to me, especially with this Booker T and Eddie Guerrero match, that is what makes wrestling so good is you truly don't know who, and it looks like they're hurting each other. Yes, of course, it's predetermined who's going to win. It's kind of like a mix between professional sports, but also a little bit of reality TV. Like, they are predetermined, but the art and the beauty and the skill is making you not even know what's going to happen. And a lot of times, of course, the viewer will probably catch on. We catch on to things as far as like storylines and how they're building characters up to really know who's going to win and who's going to lose. But the beauty and the skill and the fun of it is when you really don't know and you get a dark horse or like you're truly believing these guys are kicking the crap out of each other.
Yeah, it's a long running television show that they perform live every week.
Yeah.
And not only that, but they're putting their bodies on the line. And if you think this stuff doesn't hurt, then, go get in a ring.
Yeah.
And try some of this stuff out. I mean, you can't fake a fall from the top rope.
Yeah. You can do it skillfully, which a lot of these guys do. I mean, there's a lot of high-flying acrobatic wrestlers who do all of these jumps and flips, and they do it with such skill that they don't hurt themselves. But that's the fun of it, right? It's like watching like a circus performance or something. Like these are performers doing acrobatic stunts, or in this case, slamming their face into something stunts. But the skill of it is that they're not getting knocked out. Like they're taking the hits, and then they stand right back up and they keep wrestling. Like that's impressive.
Yeah. I mean, the point is to make it look like it hurts without obviously trying to make it hurt as little as possible. And it's such a fine line, and there's so much skill involved, like you said.
Yes, very much. And I think if you're watching this or listening to this and maybe you're having that thought of like, wrestling's not for me, I don't really get it, I think this is a really good match to watch. Again, season 10, episode 27, with Booker T. He's a very tall black man. Eddie Guerrero, he's a bit of a shorter Hispanic man. If you're kind of wondering who's who, they also put their names on the TV. But watch that match, and I think you'll really get to see performance. And not a lot of wrestlers have that level of skill. That's why there's good wrestlers and bad wrestlers.
And we're going to see some bad ones this episode. Let me tell you.
There is some not so good wrestlers, but I do think that was a really, really good match to watch.
One last thing on the wrestling is fake thing. I feel like the reason people think that is because once upon a time, the wrestling business was very much, they presented it as real, and they tried to maintain what we call kayfabe now, which is just like this alternate reality of wrestling. And at a certain point, people started to catch on. A lot of the old school wrestlers tried to preserve that. It didn't work. And nowadays, I would say they embrace it a lot more. There's a little bit, it's more just like fun. Like, yes, we're playing characters, we're having fun.
Right.
But you don't have to, nobody believes this is real anymore.
Right. It's not a UFC fight.
This isn't UFC.
Yeah.
This is its own thing, and I think it's really great.
Yeah. Well, I think like we could really beat this drum for a long time, and I'm sure we'll touch on it in the future, like you said again. But I think for a lot of people, they want to know like the rules, and they want to see people perform within a certain rule set. And the fact that WWE wrestling doesn't, I think it aggravates some people because they don't understand the like logic behind it. But if you go into it just like we're saying, accepting that it is a performance, like you're watching an acrobatic athlete do a performance with a predetermined storyline, then I think it's a little bit funner to watch.
And just accept that it's going to be silly and over the top,
Sure.
and that's the fun part of it.
Yeah, it's a performance.
You got to have a sense of humor if you're going to watch wrestling.
Oh,
You're
shots fired.
Absolutely.
Shots fired. Okay.
All right, let's get back to on topic. We sort of covered this match. I mean, there's a little outside interference stuff that happens after the match. First of all, Booker T wins via a roll up. Chris Benoit comes out and interrupts the spin-a-rooney. We didn't get a spin-a-rooney tonight, so
Spin-a-rooney.
Goldust comes in to rescue. The Dudleys come in to rescue. We're kind of setting up something that happens later, which we'll get to.
There's a little bit of chaos there. Then we have yet another Rey Mysterio promo. At this point, like, let's go, Rey Mysterio. We are waiting for you.
We're either going to get him at Vengeance or just after Vengeance.
Oy,
I think they're just going to build him up for a month. And yeah, we have a Book Dust segment.
Book Dust.
Pretty funny segment because remind me what happened here.
Do you want to know the extent of my notes?
Yeah.
Booker T and Goldust.
I have that it was hilarious. I'm trying to remember that part, but I know that the pretzel guy gets it because this guy comes around after Booker T and Goldust are talking, and he looks vaguely like X-Pac.
Oh,
so
he's wearing like that uniform or whatever. They're about like backstage.
Yeah, and Booker just like wrecks him with a with a leg kick, and then like the pretzel guy goes down, and Booker's like realizes it's not X-Pac, and he's like whoops, grabs the pretzel and gets out of there. Oh, you know what it was? It was the Booker T and Goldust thing, the like little dance that Goldust does.
Yeah, you really like Goldust.
Goldust is, I remember him as just like the funny, like weird guy.
Yeah.
And not even that funny, really. I don't remember like thinking of him as like hilarious.
Right. That's what's surprising to me as we're like watching these and talking about them is he really doesn't seem like the kind of character that you would like. So anytime that you're like, that's hilarious, I'm like, is it though?
I think he's hilarious. And he's actually just a really great wrestler too.
Yeah.
Like Goldust has been by far like, kind of the delta between what I remember and what I'm seeing him as now is like the greatest. I think he's been really fun to watch.
Interesting. I haven't watched a lot of his like skill in the ring, so I'll be on the lookout for it more.
He's very crisp and smooth, and he's got his own goofy like little style.
I know that's what's hard about being the funny guy is that a lot of the focus is on you just being funny, not really your skill. But
he's athletic too, though.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, definitely take a closer look next time.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe he'll have a bigger match next episode.
Yeah, and we've got more Goldust coming up. But first, we have a little segment between Trish, Jackie Gata, and Nowinski, which sets up our match later.
And Molly Holly, I think.
Oh, was she also there?
I don't know. I wrote her down. I'm pretty sure she is. I think I think if there's one involved, they're all involved. Yeah, because this one was more backstage, I think. But later on in the episode, Molly Holly doesn't come out.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about that segment.
Yeah,
Goldust comes out and does a little, or he doesn't come out. He's backstage. He's dressed up as Ben Franklin and doing another funny skit.
Yeah.
He's great comedic relief.
Yeah.
You don't have too many comedic relief characters right now, or I mean, in this era at this point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's been really good to have.
Yeah.
Up next, we've got Chris Benoit coming out with Eddie Guerrero versus Bubba Dudley, who is accompanied by Spike. These guys all have a very busy night.
Yeah. They're doing a lot of heavy lifting. You got Yeah, there was what, 1, 2.
Yeah, I think by this point it's like, do they only have Goldust, Booker T, and the Dudleys, and Eddie and Chris Benoit right now?
You gotta hand it to them. Like on nights like this, when you take a kind of zoomed out view, you're realizing that they only have 1, 2, 3, 4, like 8 guys, and they're making multiple matches out of them. So
yeah,
it's smart booking, I guess.
Yeah, it's a light show. I mean, we can talk about that a little bit more toward the end, but they definitely tried to make as much as they could out of what little they had.
Right.
We have, so you got basically Benoit wins this eventually. I don't have much to say about this match, but Benoit wins via crossface. Spike gets wrecked as usual, and then Booker T and Goldust rescue. So,
yeah, they're going through the motions a little bit. I think they're saving themselves because they're all involved in a match at the very end.
Yeah,
so it's a short and sweet thing.
We get a Harvard vignette with Chris Nowinski. He's
so weird.
Yeah, he's just walking around like, yep, this
is Harvard. This is where I went to school. Yep.
Here's some guys rowing down the river.
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
There's some very interesting story development in the past few weeks.
Yeah. More Nowinski later. But first, Jeff Hardy arrives on the scene, hot off of his match last week against The Undertaker, where, like we were talking about, was kind of a star-making match performance. So he comes up to Ric Flair. Flair's kind of giving him props, and then we have this random Steven Richards dude who I don't remember at all, who comes up to Flair and starts trash talking him and saying like, you're not what you used to be, you're all washed up and stuff. And basically we're just setting up a match for a little later tonight. We're going to see the Nature Boy in action. Up next, we have a truly dreadful match.
Now, I'm going to disagree with you.
Okay. Let's say what it is first. It's Trish Stratus accompanied by Bradshaw in a mixed tag match against Chris Nowinski and Jackie Gata. So this is the one we set up earlier in the show. The reason I said it's awful is the women's wrestling is just abysmal.
Okay, yes.
And I don't blame that on Trish at all. Like, I'm going to guess this is mostly Jackie Gata's fault.
Yeah.
They had no chemistry at all. Like, it's one of those, you don't realize how hard wrestling is until you see
bad wrestling.
Yeah, bad wrestling where like they don't even know what move they're trying to do.
They're just going back and forth. Like they're like throwing each other off of the ropes. We're going here, and then we're going here.
Yeah, and one's like going in this direction. And then like Trish jumps off the turnbuckle to like slam her head into the mat, and she doesn't budge.
Yeah, she doesn't get it.
Trish hits the ground, and she's like, oh, and then she falls.
Yeah.
And
this is actually this is a great episode to really look at some great wrestling and some not so good wrestling, and really look at the differences and see what you can pick up on. For me, I totally agree with you as far as like the skill goes, but two big highlights were, the first being, even though definitely chemistry was lacking in that match and it was going nowhere fast, Trish moves very well. I can see why she goes on to be a better wrestler and even still wrestles present day. She moves really well. Yeah. Even if it's abysmal, it wasn't her fault. She's cutting, and like she knows where to go. So I can see
you could tell that she had certain things in mind for what was going to happen, and then Jackie just was clueless. Yeah. Absolutely clueless. It was just awful. And you could even see her at the end, Trish just trash talking Gata, and it didn't look like it was entirely in character. It was probably like you don't belong here.
Yeah, you need to do your homework or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a give and take with wrestling, and I think that's what makes great matches great. Is even when you have like two superstars, like last week with Kurt Angle and Undertaker, two big pros, but they know how to give it and they know how to take it, right? Like,
yeah,
being able to take a move, like get the crap beat out of you in a good way, that takes skill.
a lot.
Yeah,
I think most non-wrestling fans or new wrestling fans don't get that.
Right.
To sell a move and to make the other person look good takes a lot of skill.
Yes.
And you can go long. I mean, if you look at modern day, a Baron Corbin or a Miz, those types of people who seem like they only lose,
but they do it well.
They get paid a lot of money because they make the other guys look really good.
Yes, and I do think that's a important part of a superstar. Anytime I do like a little expose, so to speak, on people who I feel like are a true bona fide skillful wrestler, that's definitely a component. Is, can you make superstar moves, but can you also sell it? I want to feel like you're losing, which I know seems so silly, but you got to feel that way.
One person cannot put on a good match. It
Correct.
takes at least two.
It's a dance. It really is a dance. Before we move on, though, last point about this, which was, like I was saying last week, like every single week there's a new thing that I'm seeing. I love that this was a guy and a girl tag teamed against a guy and a girl. Why do we not do that anymore?
They do it. They still do it every now and then.
This would be perfect for Judgment Day.
Yeah. I think they have done it with Judgment Day.
Oh, I'm not aware of it.
They're not doing it every week, but
okay.
One thing that is different though, which is interesting, is they don't enforce like genders in the ring at the same time. So you'd have like Jackie got tagged in, or was it? Yeah, Jackie maybe got tagged in, and then she'd go like start trying to beat up Bradshaw.
Yeah.
In the modern day, it's like if a woman gets tagged in, the other one's automatically in. So it's a different dynamic now.
Yeah, I don't know. I like this dynamic.
Yeah.
Even though the skill was lacking, I thought it was refreshing to see that dynamic. You don't really usually see two guys, two girls in the ring together kind of doing a tag team thing. So
it's interesting. And I mean, I think they could definitely do it more.
Yeah.
Next, we've got NWO in the ring. Shawn Michaels is out there looking like Date Mike from The Office. He's got the backwards golf cap on.
Nice to meet me.
Yeah. How do you like your eggs in the morning? We're still teasing Triple H joining the NWO.
Ugh, NWO is like obsessed with Triple H right now. I'm like, move.
Total frat vibes, by the way.
Yeah.
They're out there talking about how they just drink and party. And I love how they're trying to get Triple H to join by giving him an ultimatum and threatening him if he doesn't. Like every good relationship starts with an ultimatum.
I mean, it works out for him in the end, right? They turn into, what is it? Something X? Degeneration X?
No, that predates this.
Really?
Yeah, the initial version of DX predates this.
Suck It was before this?
Oh, yeah. They talked about it in this segment.
Really?
They didn't say their name, but that's what Sean was talking about. How he and Triple H and some of the other in X-Pac were in Degeneration X prior. So they've already been in a group together.
Well, crap. I was all confused. I thought that's what was coming.
They bring it back
Okay.
eventually. I don't remember exactly when. I think it's several years down the line, I think.
Well,
but yes, we got NWO saying like, Triple H, please join us. But if you don't, we'll ruin you.
yeah, it's like, okay.
It's like, what a great way to get somebody to join.
Yeah.
And apparently, Kevin Nash is going to be in action for the first time in 3 months.
Kevin Nash, tall boy.
Big boy. And so we set up a 10-man tag later.
10 man.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. There's
Like
a lot going on.
this literally is probably everybody they had
Yeah.
for the night, other than the previous match.
Mm-hmm. And the girls.
Yeah, and our next match, Flair versus what was his name? Something Richards.
Steven. It's the most basic
Richards.
name.
I keep forgetting it.
I don't know
There's nothing interesting about this match.
Flair. I don't know what
the
point was.
Just to boost Flair, I think. Flair just put the beat down on him. It was kind of a squash match.
I don't really care for Ric Flair, and I know that's controversial.
It's not that controversial because I've never been a huge fan either. But I also I didn't grow up in the Flair prime.
I just don't understand. I know the woo thing, but like, we just all saying woo? I don't know.
I mean, he was one of, if not the best in the world at a certain time, but it was
okay.
Long time ago.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna have to go back to the prehistoric era.
Yeah, he's already, even here in 2002, he's an old man.
Yeah.
He's not in shape. Even though they kept saying, oh, he's in shape, he's still good. He doesn't look like he's in shape.
Looks like he's been hitting the beach and tanning a lot.
Yeah, not wearing sunscreen. We got Lesnar and Paul Heyman in the ring. So Philadelphia is important to Paul Heyman because Philadelphia is where ECW was created.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of the undertone of this whole
Gotcha. I didn't know that.
thing with Heyman. Yeah, we also get an announcement from Heyman that the match with RVD at Vengeance, so Brock and RVD, is going to be for the Intercontinental Championship.
Mm-hmm. But wait, Intercontinental Championship. Oh, okay. That's odd given the match that's just about to happen. No, wait, that's European. Never mind. I'm skipping ahead.
Different
Skipping
belts.
ahead.
There's a lot of belts this time. Intercontinental, though, even at this time, I think is elevated above most of the rest.
Okay.
I would say it's probably like the number 2 belt at this time.
Okay.
So Heyman is, doing his bad guy stuff. He's talking about how he exploited RVD and the other ECW guys like Tommy Dreamer in Philadelphia. Speaking of the devil, Tommy Dreamer comes out and interrupts and says that they did it because they loved it. This is actually interesting. I meant to do my research on this, but I believe a lot of this is actually true. Like, I'm pretty sure Heyman was not a very good boss in ECW and did exploit a lot of these guys.
The grifter Paul Heyman was a bad guy? I'm shocked.
Well, I mean, that's his character, but I think some of the character is real life too.
That's usually how it goes.
I have read, and please fact check me here, but I have read that Tommy Dreamer had planned to murder Paul Heyman at WrestleMania 17.
Okay.
And then kill himself.
Oh my gosh.
And I say that because I'm pretty sure he admitted it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Please look that up while I talk about it.
Okay.
Because that is, I know that's big.
We went from 0 to serious real quick.
Because with that in the back of my mind, when they came out here talking about this, clearly like they've squashed the beef at this point.
Tommy Dreamer is still alive.
He didn't do it.
Oh.
They're both still alive. So this would have been a couple years before 2002. But my understanding is that I think Heyman didn't pay well, or he didn't always make good on his promises. And obviously these guys in ECW, they really put their bodies on the line. Maybe do we need to revisit that?
Well, there's a somewhat similar post under his personal life that says, after one of his first matches in Brooklyn, which dozens of his local relatives attended, he was attacked from behind and beaten down by Bill DeMott. No.
Different story. Look up Tommy Dreamer, Paul Heyman, WrestleMania 17. Okay. And I'll talk through what happens next. So Tommy Dreamer After saying all this, he comes out. He's got a kendo stick, so he comes down, attacks Brock with it. Looks like he's gonna put an absolute beat down on Brock. Paul Heyman.
Which WrestleMania?
17.
Okay.
So Paul Heyman distracts him. RVD comes in for the rescue. I guess he's no, he attacks Heyman, so he's not rescuing. He's rescuing his ECW brother Tommy Dreamer, and he does a very impressive move on Heyman. He does a coast to coast drop kick with a chair on Paul Heyman. So that's from one ring post to the other. And then finally Brock carries his manager Paul Heyman out. And that's this little segment here.
God, can you imagine realizing that somebody planned to take you out?
You verified it, right?
I think so.
Again, take it with a grain of salt because this is stuff we've read online. So it may or may not be true. But I am like 60% confident that it's true.
That's how this article on TalkSport is painting it to be.
And I believe it's not like a secret. I'm pretty sure like he spoke about it.
He says, "I'm so happy I didn't do it." You think?
Can you? Yeah, I know. I can't even imagine finding out.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
Yeah, I can't believe he would admit to that.
I thought the same thing. That's the only reason that I brought it up is because I'm pretty sure he admitted it.
I would not. I'd be like looking at you sideways, like I don't know about that.
He probably brought it up after the statute of limitations, so he couldn't be random pair of what is that shears in your pocket?
Yeah, I kept feeling something poke me.
What are those? Are those like garden shears?
Yeah, I was using them outside, and I kept feeling.
Is this related at all to what we're talking about? A murder suicide?
I was just having a.
Wallace, get off the podcast. You're not allowed here yet.
The mail hasn't.
No.
The mail hasn't arrived.
Okay. We're going off the rails.
Okay, bring it back. Okay. I'm ready to hop on the Hardy train.
All right, Jeff Hardy versus William Regal. We get the awesome entrance again, and I don't know why I didn't realize this last week, but it's a black light.
Yeah.
He's like paints his whole face and his body. So while he's under this black light, he's just absolutely glowing.
Yeah.
And then when he walks out, you can't see it anymore.
No, but it looks cool.
It's so cool. I don't know why you wouldn't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like why nobody else has done this.
I think that a lot with all of the, like looking back and seeing a bunch of stuff that people are doing back in the day. I'm like, why are we not doing this in present day? But I agree. The black light stuff is pretty cool.
This so Jeff Hardy versus William Regal. This is for the European Championship, which William Regal currently holds. Do you have any comments on the match itself, or do you want to get to the end?
It was a little bit odd. It was an odd pairing.
Yeah.
Hardy wins, which was like, oh, okay.
Via Swanton Bomb. Very much feels like a little bit of a consolation prize. Like, you almost won the Undisputed Championship last week, so here's a match for European.
Yeah, it felt a little odd, but the biggest takeaway is that Jeff Hardy is so good at that jumping double kick. I don't know if there's like a name for that move, where you basically just jump. He jumps up and puts both feet on somebody's chest and like kicks. Do you know what I'm saying?
Drop kick?
I guess so. He executes that so well. And he does it in such a way, like if you're watching him do it, I don't know. It's like he knows how to hold his body so that he's not fully kicking somebody with all of his might, but I don't know.
He's very artistic with his movements.
Yes. He does it very well.
I love he does like a spinning backflip. I did that or tried to do that so many times on the trampoline as a kid. One of my favorite moves. Yeah. And the Swanton Bomb too.
Okay. You had to show me that one. I mean, I'm sure I've seen him do it, but
the Swanton,
it's so hard to keep.
The Swanton is his finishing move. He did at the very end. It's basically just a front flip, but it's like he kind of keeps his body straight.
Yes. Yeah. What I loved about that is when he like starts it and he puts his head up like that, like when he jumps out, and then he tucks it in really quick. That is cool.
Kevin Owens adopted that.
Oh, okay.
Modern day.
Yeah.
He does that sometimes.
Okay.
The Rock returns next week. That's what we got from this next segment.
That's what we've been getting for the last 7 weeks.
I could have swore earlier on that we've been teasing this for like 2 weeks.
They are raking in that sweet Rock cash. That promo was so long that they had right there. Like flashbacks of The Rock.
They do. We haven't really been covering that, but yeah, like every commercial break when they come back, it's a Rock moment.
But I'm saying this one specifically was like multiple at a time.
They're doing more and more.
Oh yeah, they're like, remember how funny The Rock was? Don't you want him back?
So we're going to have a big episode of SmackDown. I guess it wouldn't be our next episode. It'd be the one after. Mm-hmm. Jeez. So like wow. Okay.
They've been teasing The Rock for a while.
He's coming back like once, and then he's going to go to Vengeance, and then he's probably going to bounce.
Yep. He's like, again. I got contracts, man.
Yeah. We got Regal backstage. He's very sad that he just lost his European Championship.
So sad he's crying.
He's sobbing on his knees. It kind of caught me off guard. You don't really see this much. This like, I don't know if you call that vulnerability or if it was more of a joke. I felt like
it was more like jokey.
You think it was more of a joke?
Maybe I wasn't giving him credit for it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good acting though.
Yeah.
And I guess his bud, Nowinski, comes and consoles him and takes him away. So we find out via the Dudleys backstage that RVD is going to be the 10th man in our massive 10-man main event.
Mm-hmm. Everybody present.
Right now. So we got Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, the NWO sans Shawn Michaels. So that's Kevin Nash, Big Show, X-Pac. Then we got the Dudleys on the other side. Mm-hmm. We got the Dudleys, RVD, and Booker T and Goldust.
All present.
All right. Everybody's accounted for. We've got... I mean, this is a crazy match. I mean...
Chaos.
It's chaotic. You got Shawn Michaels trying to interfere after a bit. I mean... This is just kind of where it all breaks down. So RVD chases Shawn kind of toward the backstage area. Brock comes out of nowhere, almost takes out Shawn, but like you can tell he's looking for RVD. But
Brock's got a bone to pick with RVD.
Yeah, Shawn almost got it there, but Brock just wrecks RVD.
Can you imagine like turning a corner and seeing Brock like full on headed towards you? I'd be like, oh God.
That'd be terrifying. Yeah. We finally get Nash tagged back in and he like immediately blows out his knee. First time in 3 months. This looks real. They did, if you notice, that the ref did the big X symbol with his arms.
Oh.
So that is supposed to mean that there's a real injury when the ref does the overhead X with his arms. His or her. There are some exceptions to that where they know that people think that, so they'll use it as a plot device. But the reason I think this one is real is because they didn't do anything about it.
Right.
Nash goes down. He stays down. Chaos ensues. Shawn Michaels is back. He does a super kick. And... he does a super kick on somebody, Booker T, I believe, and then Big Show choke slams him and pins him. Shawn Michaels gets on the mic and is just warning Triple H, like, if you don't join, this is what's going to happen to you.
I wanted to show you this picture.
He does not. He doesn't even mention Kevin Nash laying over there with a blown out knee. So that's also makes me think that it was real.
So I came across this picture. I was looking, long story, I'll cut to the chase. I was looking at pictures of Kevin Nash because he looked so familiar and he has been in a few movies. So I think I've seen him in a movie prior, and now I'm like realizing, oh, I've seen this man before, but I don't know what movie it was in. Anyway, I came across this picture of him showing his knees pre and post orthopedic surgeries. I think he got new hips and knees, and they look jank. So I think his knees were put through the ringer, literally.
Ooh, yeah.
They look like this, like they're like sideways. So
yeah,
he probably.
If I remember, I'll put this on the YouTube video. But wow, just like Google Kevin Nash knees.
They looked like.
Oh my God, they're so crooked. Like so pre-surgery, the right one is just totally bent, crooked.
Yeah. Inwards.
The other one's
valgus,
all,
if you will.
Oh my God! But afterwards, it looks much better.
Yeah.
So it looks like, I mean, so that tracks with like it's probably a real injury.
Yeah. He probably had a lot of knee injuries.
And he is older at this point in history, even in 2002. So it's probably the beginning of the end for him too. I really think this is the beginning of the end for the NWO. I don't see much value they provide at this point, this version. Most of their segments and matches, I feel like, just fall flat and feel kind of forced. Like they really want that frat boy.
The group is too big. Once your group gets above 4, it falls apart for me.
Well, it's still only 4 currently.
But they're trying to get a new guy.
He's not there
like
yet.
Something all the time.
And they could just kick out Nash because he's got a bum knee.
Well, maybe they're about to do it.
Maybe.
But it is something I feel about Judgment Day where I'm like, listen, y'all got 4 all within the Judgment Day. That's a lot of people to keep up with in one dang group, and they're trying to keep it cohesive, and you're trying to
4 is fine.
It's on the edge of my mental capacity.
All right, we're going to transition here in a minute to modern day, but first let's talk about like your impressions of the show because well, yeah, what were your impressions of the show?
It seemed like they were working with limited performers.
Definitely.
But they made it work. Even though there was that and just the fact that it was a lot of the matches leading up to a big premium event, sure, there might be 1 or 2 that's trying to propel the story forward, but overall, it's like we're just kind of biding time until we get to the premium event. So that's a little bit how it felt, but
not every episode is like that. Like I would say this is the first one that we've covered so far that has felt like more of a filler.
Yeah, but I'm sure like the next Raw is probably going to be jam-packed.
It very well might be, but this reminds me actually of the SmackDown that we just went to where you just have these episodes where they're trying to put on the best show possible, but no stories are really moving forward to any significant degree. Yeah. You have major players missing, the Undertaker not in town. So yeah, I think they made the best. They did the best they could with what they had here. Yeah. But
I've seen worse as far as like matches and stuff.
There were some good matches. There was some chaos.
And there was some humor. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, I mean, this was an entertaining episode of Raw. Mm-hmm. Just Goldust alone made it worthwhile. All right, that's episode of Raw, July 8th, 2002.
SmackDown.
No, it's Raw.
This was Raw?
This was Raw.
Oh my gosh, I'm so confused.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yep,
wow, no. Why did I think we were doing... I even wrote Raw right here.
Yep, Monday Night Raw. That's what we just covered.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
I don't think you've said it so far, so you're good. This is the first time you yeah, so SmackDown will be our next episode.
Okay.
Thursday night.
I am all... Going to a show gets me all confused.
All right, so tune in next time for Thursday Night SmackDown. Again, if we have maybe another lighter episode, we may combine a couple, but yeah, we're just taking it one episode at a time.
Yeah. Before we close out, let's do a little recap about present day SmackDown.
All right, yes. Now we are transitioning to modern day. So yeah, Friday night we were in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the PNC Arena, which we can talk about.
Yeah, like the arena itself. It was okay.
It kind of sucked, honestly. Not
It was
to
a
throw
little
shade.
outdated. We're comparing it to Raw in Greensboro, which was about a month ago.
Yeah.
It didn't hit quite as good as the Raw did.
Nothing. Yeah. So we went to a banger of a Raw like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
In Greensboro. For one, in PNC Arena, like they had like a quarter of the vendors open, so like you couldn't hardly get any food without waiting.
Yeah.
In like a super long line.
It felt like they were prepared for maybe a smaller recreational show, but then Cody Rhodes said that, I mean, I don't know how much truth is to that, but that it was like the largest Raleigh crowd they had, so maybe they were just really not looking to have a lot of people.
It felt like, yeah, it felt like maybe people didn't expect this to be as big as it was going to be.
Yeah.
I hope that we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves here, but I hope that, because I think it was a good crowd, and if they were telling the truth about the record attendance, you would think maybe the next time they come to town, we don't get a filler show, because that's what this was.
Yeah.
We got a filler show. We didn't get Roman Reigns. We did get briefly LA Knight, which was probably the highlight for me.
Let me tell y'all, the crowd was hyped for LA Knight.
Including us.
Before the show started, the gates open, people are walking in. We got people yelling, yeah, all down the hallways. We got people in LA Knight shirts. You were stopped by another guy. I mean, the hype.
We both had LA Knight shirts on. Yep.
Toot toot going down the tracks for LA Knight. Like
absolutely,
he is hyped.
We were in North Carolina. There were more yeahs than there were woos.
Yeah, big time. LA Knight, I don't know what in the world has happened in society, but he is getting hyped up.
Absolutely.
Which
and
I
the
think
crowd,
is deserved. But
the biggest reaction by far was for LA Knight. And all he did was he came out onto the stage, didn't come into the ring. He came out, he talked for a while. He said all of his catchphrases. Crowd was ahead of him on all of that stuff. Including us.
The crowd was hanging on every word. You could
Absolutely.
tell. Like, he was captivating the audience. And like you said, he wasn't even in the ring. He literally just popped out like from the dressing room like, hey guys, I'm here. Just so we know, I'm probably going to fight. Yeah. Okay. See you next time. Like, and the crowd was like, yeah.
Just ate it up.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that the crowd likes about LA Knight is just how participatory it is. You get to do the LA Knight.
Yes.
You get to do the yeah.
Yes.
When he says it, you can do it instead of a what chant in between his his pauses.
He makes it fun.
Yeah.
Which I think Seth Rollins does too, which is why I think everybody loves to sing with him, because it feels like you're a part of it, which is a big part of wrestling. So
and we're going to see what The Rock in when he finally comes back in 2002.
Uh-huh.
His act is very participatory.
Yeah.
And Stone Cold's as well. That's why I feel like that's the key to like mega stardom.
I think it's one path to take.
It is, yeah. I mean, there are multiple paths. But
if something else isn't working out, like maybe you're not booking very good matches or whatever, definitely this path is a way to hype yourself up.
LA Knight is definitely a kind of a mixture of The Rock and Stone Cold, kind of.
I keep seeing that, yeah.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people say it. It is true, but he is his own thing.
Sure.
He's definitely his own thing, and he's doing great. It certainly seems like, I hope we're headed for LA Knight versus Austin Theory for the United States Championship at SummerSlam.
So.
I think so too. I just hope the WWE doesn't overthink this and do the Cody Rhodes thing where it's like, no,
no,
not yet. It's like, no good guys can have anything.
Yeah, they really WWE loves the bad guys lately, like the heels. It is like heel nation. Everybody's a heel. Judgment Day, Bloodline, Asuka,
Roman.
Well, Roman. I always think of him as being Bloodline stuff. Rollins, in a way, you could say
He was.
He's a heel.
He's not anymore. He was, and then he kind of he transitioned with Logan Paul. When he faced Logan Paul, it's like there was a bigger asshole in the room, so they started cheering for Seth.
Gotcha. Brock is a heel.
Yep.
You got
LA Knight's a heel. Even though the crowd loves him, he's a tweener. He's an ass.
That term is so funny.
I know.
Yeah, but the crowd's loving him. I want to go back to the beginning because I wanted to get on a little bit of a pedestal or whatever. Soapbox about Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
Her outfit was amazing. Her look is amazing.
Crowd loved it too.
She is the ultimate female wrestler. I will defend that. I
agree. She's the EST.
She is amazing. Her look, her act, her performance. I love her. She is the top.
Yeah, I don't know why she isn't a bigger star, and I hope that we're headed there with her current program because, I mean, obviously she's held the belt. She is a plenty big star. I get that. But she's pretty popular with the crowd, but I think there's another level she could get to if she takes on more of like the female Brock Lesnar persona.
Sure. I mean, yeah, like a Rhea, you mean? Or...
Not even that, like her own thing, like stay true to her character, but like I like that she's been doing more of like a little bit leaning more toward heel, like I'm just going to do things my way. I don't care if I break the rules. I don't care if I piss people off. I'm just gonna get what's coming to me, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel heel vibes from her yet, but yeah, maybe she's headed that way.
I think she's getting screwed over so much. I feel like they're setting that up for just her to just lose it.
Mate, they're certainly setting something up with this, with whatever happened between her and Flair and Io and Asuka. Something's going to happen. So should we
jump to that? Because we can jump around a little bit. But the main event, we had Bianca versus Asuka for the women's championship. What do they call it? The WWE Women's Championship?
I guess.
Because there's two now. But anyway, they had their match. We had Charlotte Flair in attendance. We had Io Sky and Bayley ringside. And just things all went to hell because Io and Bayley came to interfere. Charlotte actually was they set up a match versus Bianca at SummerSlam earlier in the program, but that's only if Bianca wins this match. Yeah. So Charlotte's trying to defend her title match. So she's trying to she's on Bianca's side, but then, you know, somebody steps out of the way and then she spears Bianca, disqualification, and the belt stays with the champ.
Yeah, but they're certainly setting something up to happen in SummerSlam.
Yes, but before we get to that, then we had the whole Money in the Bank thing.
Yeah, it was a
Io
tease.
Sky. Yep, we had another Money in the Bank tease, which I guess they're going to do this a lot.
Probably. This
time. They're not going to do any quick. It doesn't seem like they're going to do a quick. Maybe they'll do a SummerSlam.
That's kind of what I feel like is what's happening, but I don't know.
Still have two.
I don't like damage control, so I don't really.
Both Money in the Bank holders still have their briefcases. But anyway, Io looks like she's going to cash it in. There's some confusion or something, and then Asuka gets away. So no title change, but yeah, something is brewing in the women's division, and I don't even. There's a lot of different directions they could go. Here.
That's my least favorite way to end things is, we're all confused and everybody runs away. I'm like, okay, so nothing really happened.
So we
is my
could.
least favorite way to end.
I mean, we
things.
could have Bianca and Charlotte versus Charlotte anyway. I mentioned that to you. It could be like the Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar of the women's division. No belt required. But I don't know. I almost feel like maybe we're headed toward a triple threat, or even a fatal four-way if EO wants to get in there.
Yeah, maybe.
So we could be headed for a big SummerSlam match in the women's division, and
As long as I get to see Bianca fight, I'll be happy because she puts on a show for SummerSlam.
Oh yeah, last year's SummerSlam match was
amazing.
GOAT tier.
One of the best female matches I've ever seen.
Same matches in general, I would say.
It was
great match.
Great. So I'm excited for that. Really missed Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, we were hoping he would make an appearance, but he's doing his own thing.
He's taken a big step back since WrestleMania, it feels like.
Yeah, he did the thing, the Dom story, which really, obviously to his credit, really propelled Dom, even though Dom ended up losing at WrestleMania. Dom is just on another level right now as far as like a heel and just being relevant. Yeah. So he did a lot for his son's career already. So like what more? And he fought his son at WrestleMania. So I don't really know what else he has to do.
I know.
At this point,
what I wish I was seeing, given that they're doing the LWO thing, is like with Judgment Day. If one of them comes out, there's always at least another one in the group, or there's. It feels like they travel in a herd, and even like NWO in the way back past, when one comes out, they're all out. When one's fighting, there's at least one more out. With LWO, I'm feeling a little bit like we're not really operating as a group very much.
I've got a hot take about the LWO.
Oh, give it to me. Serve it up hot. Let's go.
I think they're a bunch of dweebs. It's like the most lame. It is the lamest faction that I've ever seen in WWE.
I want to like it. But I think what I'm not liking is you can't be a group and then not act like a group.
Okay, so who's even in the LWO? We have Rey Mysterio, we have Escobar, and we have Zelina Vega.
Yeah.
Who else? Yeah, Rey Mysterio is half retired.
Wait, isn't there another one?
Not that I'm aware of. There may be some minor guys that like never are actually around.
Let me see.
But I mean, they lose all the time.
Okay.
Except I know that they won a match. Escobar won his match for basically they're doing the tournament for the United States Championship. He won his first qualifier. There's no chance he's winning this whole thing.
They're dweebs insofar as they're not having them win anything, which stinks.
They're just not interesting. I mean, Zelina had a nice moment at Backlash because she was at home, and it was emotional and all that. But I think they've gone the wrong direction.
I like Vega. I want to like Vega. I want her to win more, but I agree they're not doing anything with her.
They've just made her look weak, I think.
Well, she is teeny tiny, so
it's like small,
I get that, but that's where I'll get like so frustrated with the women's stuff. Is like, I get it. You can't manage 20 whatever storylines at once and have them all be great. I get that, but like if it doesn't deal with Bianca and Asuka or Ronda Rousey, it just feels like we don't care as far as. Even sometimes Becky, who arguably is also one of the tops, I almost feel like it doesn't feel like they're like, we'll give you something else with Trish. Like that's all she's been doing. So it's a little frustrating as a woman who's wanting to watch women's wrestling and be involved and invested in those storylines. And they're not really doing jag diddly to like make it interesting. Like, I really want to like Vega. I really want to like Piper Niven. She seems really cool.
She's gone. I don't even know where she is.
It's like I want to like these girls. I don't give two cracks about Damage Control. I'm over it. Done. Give me somebody else.
Yeah, it is odd. They've got some talent there, but yeah, the focus on Damage Control, I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm
They
not
do.
into it. The guy next
the
to
focus
us
is not there.
at the show, and you know,
A lot of people likes EO's guy.
Yeah, and that's cool. That's what makes wrestling good. Is everybody has different preferences and likes different people. I just don't get it. I don't understand. To me, like what I was saying about what makes a superstar, she doesn't do anything on the mic. Her skill set is fair at best. She's a tag-along teammate for Damage Control. I'm like, what? She has nothing going for her. No background. She's never in any like,
yeah.
We're not learning anything about her, seeing anything about her. She doesn't do anything.
I agree. I feel a lot of the same ways I feel about Asuka, about EO.
Yeah.
There's very little character development there. And I get the language barrier, but
I think that's on WWE though. I really don't think that's on Asuka.
yeah.
Like with EO, she's it feels like a bit of a smaller wrestler, but with Asuka, how are you going to make her the women's champion and like not give her more screen time?
Yeah. And like you could at least give us like let her speak Japanese and give us subtitles.
Yeah, we want to see her life. That's what I love about like going back and watching these past episodes is like with freaking Nowinski, who is like, you know, some small time guy. You let him go to Harvard, you film him walking around. I mean, it's so random, but like we're seeing something else about him. Asuka,
I mean, and I'll give Asuka all the credit for as little like screen time and opportunities as she's given. Set aside the fact that she's the champ. She does the most she can with what she's given. She wears all these interesting outfits. She's got the mask. She's got the face paint, the mist. She's doing everything she possibly can. She's a great performer, but I don't think they're putting her in the best situation to succeed.
I completely agree.
So
it makes the fan, aka me, not like her as much because I don't know anything about her. Well, are you going to show us anything? She's the champion. Why do we not know anything about her? Why is she not on the mic more? Why is she not? We need more.
So that's my thing to make this a broader point about Grayson Waller, some other new guys, Solo Sikoa, less new, but still new. I don't necessarily like these. I wouldn't say like I'm a fan yet, but like every week I'm hoping they like prove me wrong, you know?
I got you.
I'm always
you're
open to that.
Yeah.
There are very few, if any, superstars that I'm just out on and like closed off to, you know?
I know why you're saying it that way. It's because I said I'm out on Grayson Waller.
Yeah. And you can't be. I mean, you can be. You can be out on him if you want, but give him a chance. Everybody starts somewhere.
I'll circle back for his next evolution.
Sure.
I'll circle back. His current thing, I'm out. I get so frustrated with like booking or whatever, or the storyline when you're giving this guy, like, let's take Asuka and Grayson Waller and compare them, right? You're giving Grayson Waller, brand new, just showed up on the block. You're giving him top matches with top people that he didn't, I don't feel necessarily earn. You're giving him promos.
Okay, but you don't, and we don't watch NXT, so you can't say he didn't earn it.
Okay.
That's not correct.
All right. I acknowledge that.
He was a main eventer in NXT.
Okay, we're in a different realm here.
Not entirely. You don't bring out a main eventer from NXT and then like have him lose to the Miz or something.
I don't want him to lose. I don't so much care about win or lose. I know that does in a way, propel you up or propel you down. What I'm saying is just in the way that he's presented to the audience, I'm seeing him promoted and talked about every week. He has this talk show, whatever. I don't understand it. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm not with the hip crowd. I don't know.
No, I think you're right. I think that fell flat. And they did that like 4 weeks in a row and he never wrestled because they were saving him for Madison Square Garden versus Edge, which was good, but it did feel weird and kind of forced.
Yeah. As someone who doesn't watch NXT, because I'm struggling to keep up with just the,
Yeah.
regular stuff. I'm like, who is this guy? This super young looking kind of cocky guy, which I get it. It's a character, whatever. But like he strolls up in here and he's got this big show and it has its own setting. And then meanwhile, you got the women's championship and we see her, every 4 weeks maybe?
I know, but look at John Cena. We watched John Cena's debut. He was not an interesting person. He was very good in the ring. You could tell he had potential. I think everybody could tell. Mm-hmm. It took time for him. It took years. I think it took maybe a year or two.
Was John Cena promoted out of the gate? Was he given top match?
He faced Kurt Angle in his debut. And he almost won.
Okay. We'll agree to disagree.
Okay.
I'm out on Grayson Waller right now. He needs to lose.
Okay, but you're open to him getting better.
When he inevitably drops whatever shtick he's doing now, and he's probably going to do a costume change and whatever, I'll come back around. Okay. Because with these silver boxing shorts that he's wearing, I'm out.
Okay.
They don't look good. It makes him look like he's 12.
Okay. It's different, though. I don't think everybody has to wear tights.
They don't.
We're like, okay, let's move on.
Even Brock Lesnar wears some dope shorts.
Yeah.
But they're not dope shorts.
Okay. His character is definitely going to evolve.
I think so,
he's
too.
finding his footing. You can tell. I mean, he's very good, and he held his own with John Cena pretty well. But you can also tell that he's like not 100% comfortable yet, and nor should he be yet.
I'm just out right now. I'm being a little bit of not a sore loser, but a sore patron.
I try to look at like young talent and kind of meet them where they are. I know that they're not great yet, but I'm trying to see where it could go. Same with Solo Sikoa. I know. So let's talk about the Bloodline stuff.
Okay.
So we had Jey Uso come out. He basically talking about the stuff that happened last week with Jimmy being in an ambulance. He's gone. He's injured right now. In kayfabe at least. So we get Heyman coming out with Solo. I really like that Solo is starting to do the Brock Lesnar thing where he takes the mic away from Heyman, mm-hmm. who does most of his talking, and he says a few things. And it's
I like that they're like, Solo, you got to do something. You just missed it.
No. So, and again, I didn't watch him in NXT, but apparently he can do a lot more than they're letting him do. So don't conflate don't conflate the performer with how his booking has been.
Oh, sure. A lot of the complaints and the criticism I give are on the way in which that package is presented to us, the audience. Certainly, I understand that, like Solo, Grayson Waller, they are their own person personally, but then also their character is trying their own things. I totally get that, and we're not aware of that. I don't know how they are or what they do. A lot of my frustration is the way in which WWE is saying, here, this is Solo Sikoa. And I'm like, why are you packaging it that way?
I know, and they are kind of forcing him down our throats, and I get that. And I haven't loved every minute of it. There's the month after WrestleMania was really painful because they were just absolutely cramming him down our throats. But we have a little distance from that, and I kind of like the direction they're going. In the absence of Roman, I feel like they're kind of trying to push him as like this obviously Solo kind of destroyer, enforcer type, but he's starting to talk more, which I like. Mm-hmm. Or maybe we're going to start to flesh out his character a little bit more, which I think is going to make it a lot more interesting. Mm-hmm. Especially like you got him in there with his brothers. Like you can't not flesh him out a bit more than just make him the quiet, mean guy in the corner that just makes the mean faces. I think we're finally starting to make some ground on that, and it has been slow. But
agonizingly slow.
We're getting there, and I think he's starting to become an interesting character.
Okay.
And by the way,
starting to become interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's super interesting up until now. But what they've done the last few weeks, I think, has been good with him. And in general. And the crowd loved everything about this segment. They loved Jay. They got so hyped for Jay taking out Heyman with the super kick.
Yeah. Heyman talked more in that match than I've ever heard him talk. He was talking and a talking and a talking.
Well, it wasn't a match, but you mean like in the ring?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Segment, whatever.
Yeah. Well, he can do a lot of talking. I mean, he does do a lot of talking. So the Bloodline stuff was really good. Crowd was super into it. And next week we get Roman Reigns to further it even more. And maybe see what he's going to do at SummerSlam. Maybe.
Yeah. Roman Reigns and Brock are like on their once a month type schedule.
Okay, yeah. As long as they don't meet again at WrestleMania and we go from one part-time champion to another part-time champion.
Yeah. But kind of a cherry on top at the end of the match at the end of the show, we got to have a dark match. Yeah.
That was surprising because they didn't advertise this at all that I saw. Kind of on one of the commercial breaks, I think you were gone to the bathroom. They said, "Oh, don't forget about our main event, Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest."
Oh yeah, I missed that.
I thought I was hallucinating. I was like, "What? Was that an audio glitch?" Like, they're not here. This is SmackDown. But no. So we got after the show went off air. I'm sure if you've been to an event before, you probably know how this works. But if you don't. A lot of times before and after the show goes on or off air, you get another match. So we got some Cody Rhodes, which was pretty cool. Like for all of the shortcomings of this night, which we can talk about, they made up for it. I feel like with, bringing out a top tier superstar and Damian Priest.
Yeah. It was fun.
No shade intended to Damian Priest. You're not quite there yet, but
yeah, it was fun. It was a good match. It was fun. I thought it was nice of them to do it at the end. Cody Rhodes is such a performer, loves the crowd. This is the second show that we've been to where I felt like he made it like a point to be the last one to perform and say goodbye to everyone and thank everyone for coming.
And the last one to leave. He really, you can just tell that he just really truly loves this business, and we're super lucky to have him.
Yeah. We're lucky to have you.
Anyway, do you have any other points you want to hit, or do you want to talk about the show overall?
Overall, it was fine. Shotzi shaving her head was kind of cool. I look forward to her having a buzz cut. That was pretty
Did she shave her head? I didn't see that.
Yeah. That may have been while you were gone.
Okay. I may have missed that.
It was a video segment. But I read on Reddit that I think her sister maybe has cancer, and so she was like planning to shave it anyway, and they kind of put it in. But I'm kind of looking forward to a girl with a buzz cut. Yeah, she's going to look really cool.
Yeah, I hope she changes up her character a little bit.
Yeah.
She's been kind of a dweeb too for a while.
Yeah. I used to not, I wasn't into her, but I'm coming around to her.
She could be good if she got a good push. Yeah. Right now she's kind of like a Miz tier, like punching bag.
Anyway, I won't retread that ground again, but her and I think Selena Vega no. Who am I thinking of? Not Vega, but
Shayna Baszler?
No. Who? Sonya Deville. That's who I'm thinking of. Another one who I feel like has really cool potential, but they're like, nah, we're going to keep her right here. And this is as high as she'll ever go.
Yeah, well, they are putting them in the tag team division, which needs everyone they can get right now. But yeah, show overall I thought was pretty weak, but with some high points. Yeah. I mean, weak overall, but we got our LA Knight moment, we got our Bloodline moment that was good, and then we got our dark match with Cody Rhodes. So I was pretty satisfied with it. It's still, I feel like SmackDown overall is just a lot weaker than Raw.
Yeah,
And
I gotta agree with you on that.
And I just don't understand the rationale behind this. Like, ever since since they did the brand split, it's felt really weak. And I thought like maybe they had something coming, like a big move over there or something. But so far nothing. And also another thing that happened we didn't even cover was Pretty Deadly. One of those guys got hurt. He threw out his shoulder.
Oh, really?
He's going to be out for a little bit in that match.
I want to like them.
Yeah, I think they're pretty cool.
The crowd was loving them.
I think they're pretty cool. They're catching on.
They need to change up the color of their costume, but maybe they'll get there. I love the lace top, but like it would be cool.
It's
to have
always
like
blue, right?
Yeah, it'd be cool to have a different color because they're.
Yeah.
I like when the package is all like, consistent. And since they're like, their thing coming out is like a bunch of neon disco dancers.
A disco ball in the middle of the ring.
Yeah. It would be really cool if they had that outfit, but like a neon blue, a neon green, a neon pink, different things. But
yeah.
I'm glad we went.
Yeah. Totally.
It's always fun to watch a live show. Even one that's not that great. It's still fun.
Totally.
We'll continue to go to more. Thinking about WrestleMania next year. Haven't put it in the books yet, but we're thinking about it.
Thinking about going is what you mean.
Thinking about going, yes.
Yes. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Maybe if the podcast catches on, we'll have more of a reason to go.
Yeah. We'll do some interviews on the fly.
Yeah. All right. I think that's enough for this week. Thanks for tuning in to the Ruthless Regression Podcast. We should be back this week, next week, sometime soon
See you when we see you.
With the next episode of SmackDown in 2002. Until then, we need a catchphrase. Stay groovy.
Bye.
See ya.